Welcome to the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on FS1. Here's what this podcast is all about. It's an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the day's show, and there is a lot to get into in today's podcast. Skip lays out the argument on why LeBron doesn't have the clutch gene, while Shannon takes issue with the unpredictable.com rankings. Skip believes the battle line just got drawn through social media between Odell Beckham Jr. and his head coach, Ben McAdoo. Keeping it New York, Shannon calls out the Giants CEO, John Mara, for his comments on Colin Kaepernick and reminds Mara he had Josh Brown on his team. Former NBA All-Star Carlos Boozer comes in the studio to talk about Kevin Love's comments on the Warriors and gives us his NBA Finals pick. Finally, Skip and Shannon react to the Tiger Woods news of a DUI this morning in Jupiter, Florida. Skip and Shannon, happy Memorial Day.
It's Memorial Day weekend.
It is. And you know what? I wanted to apologize to you because I'm sorry you had to come in here on a holiday and get embarrassed by me trying to defend LeBron James.
But you know what?
I sincerely apologize.
I'm about to start this barbecue early.
Oh, are you?
I'm about to cook out, start stewing in about 2 minutes.
Oh, you and Shaq, barbecue chicken, right?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you, Skip?
Here we go.
Everything's good?
Yeah. You'll be good for about a minute
You
here.
see my guy? You see my guy?
Who?
O'Brien.
Braun? What did he do? Did he play yesterday? No, they had the parade yesterday. I forgot about that.
He was busy. Him and Savannah took a quick jaunt down to, I ain't telling you what he went.
Cabo?
Nope.
No?
Doing a lot of vacationing.
He got time. That's what happens when you dispatch people in
He
four
didn't have
and
as
four.
much time as Golden State, but
Hey,
guess,
he
makes
vacationed
it work.
against George Paul, and he vacationed against the
Stop,
Raptors, and he
stop.
vacationed against the no Isaiah Celtics. I don't know. It's nothing but vacation.
They
Well,
didn't
let's
need
get
Isaiah
it
Thomas,
started
the
with
real one.
LeBron.
Yeah.
We are 3 days away from the NBA Finals, tipping off between the Cavs and Warriors. Unpredictable.com ranked the most clutch players in the NBA, and they have LeBron as the second most clutch player in the league, behind only Anthony Davis. They write that in the playoffs, LeBron is shooting 44% on shots to tie or take the lead in the final minute. Shannon, do you agree with their ranking?
Hell no, I don't agree. He should be number one. Number one, Skip Bayless, number one, not number two. I believe if you make the right play, it can never be the wrong decision. See, Skip Bayless, in his little mind, unless you attempt, little. It's little this morning. Unless you take the last shot at the buzzer, it's not clutch. But let me ask you a question, Skip. In Game 3 of the 2015 Finals, when he stole the ball to ice the game, would you consider that clutch?
Game 3 of 2015?
Yeah, in the Finals, to go up
Help
2-1.
me out.
To go up 2-1. They were home against Golden State. He stole the inbound play from Steph. Steph Curry was trying to make a pass to David Lee and get it back. LeBron stole it, iced the game. Would you consider that clutch?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
What about that block on Andre Iguodala? Would you consider that clutch?
Not at all. I told you, J.R. Smith undercut him and stopped him in his tracks, and he had to slow down, and LeBron caught up. I give you no clutchness there.
Oh, but you tweeted that when Kawhi blocked James Harden's shot at the end of the regulation, right before regulation.
Oh, that was awesome.
Oh, see,
That was
okay,
awesome.
okay, that's
but
all.
he didn't get any tandem blocks. There's no help.
Actually, he did.
Oh,
but,
okay.
but I just wanted to make sure that was on record. Would you consider hitting a three-pointer at the buzzer against the Magic in 2009? Would you consider that clutch? What about that game winner against the Bulls in 2015?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So you consider those clutches. And they say, including the playoffs, LeBron is shooting 53% from the field clutch this season in the final 5 minutes. Now, that's the way the NBA defines clutch. You know, you like that last 2-minute report that you love that. They said LeBron traveled. They say LeBron committed the foul. So you like when the NBA puts out these stats. The NBA defines clutch as the final 5 minutes of the ball game. LeBron is numero uno. I don't really want to go any further. I'm just going to say this last one and throw this out there for you because I know you're going to nibble on this. In the playoffs in their career, LeBron James, born to one Gloria James, 12,
We
30,
know that. Keeps
1984.
going. Go ahead. Yep, we got
He's
that.
6 of 13 on last-second field goal attempt. The greatest player in NBA history who you say is one Michael Jordan is 5 of 11. So LeBron James in his playoff career has a better and more clutch walk-offs than Michael Jordan. Hey, Skip, and from now, when I talk about LeBron, I'm only going to talk about him using this pen right here.
It's your Superman pen.
That's the only time I'm talking about. I ain't talking about him no more. Unless I have this pen in my hand, I refuse to talk about the king unless this pen is in my hand. So moving forward, this is what you're going to have to deal with.
Really?
Yep.
Could Superman make free throws? LeBron can't make free throws.
He go 7 straight finals.
Huh?
He can go to 7 straight finals and take 2 different teams to 4 of them piece.
Did Superman only have to compete against the Eastern Conference? I just want to know.
This is not what we're talking about.
Superman played both conferences, right?
Yeah.
He didn't care. He would save the West or save the East. It didn't matter to him.
He beat
He didn't say, Lois, I can only do the East, right?
Well, when you hold that against Magic Johnson in the 1980s, Magic Johnson and 2 other teams were the only ones to win 55 or more games throughout the entire decade. So when you hold that against Magic Johnson, you come talk to me then. Okay, go ahead.
Tell me when you're finished.
I'm done.
Okay, now the floor is mine. Does that mean it's officially all mine?
You get a couple of minutes.
Okay, all right, I get a couple of minutes. You know, this is amusing to me because when it comes to LeBron James and defending him, especially on the clutch gene, as I call it, the blind witnesses with their blind spots know no bounds. And obviously, you can take these numbers and you can make them sit or stay or roll over, or I can take these numbers and make them play dead because they are extremely misleading numbers. I've told you again and again and again, the last minute, 1 minute of an NBA game is endless. A million things can happen over the last minute. I'm going to detail what happened over the last minute in just a minute of Game 6 of the 2013 finals in her building. Remember that game?
I do.
The last minute was rich with drama. 15 things happened over the last minute. And so I don't care really what somebody does with 55 seconds left or 45 seconds left or even 35 seconds left because you know and I know the pressure builds and builds and builds toward what happens over the last 10 or so seconds, especially the final possession. And we have seen repeatedly in those moments that LeBron James lacks, as I called it, as I nicknamed it, the clutch gene. And we have seen repeatedly in those moments that LeBron James can be the most mentally fragile superstar we have ever seen. So let's go to those last second moments. LeBron James has played 1,273 games in his career. That's a lot of games. 12, almost 1,300 games. That's including the playoffs. In those games, LeBron has only four walk-off jump shots. That's an amazing stat. I don't know how many Michael had. It's hard to go back and count them, but I will promise you he had more than 4 because the year I covered him in Chicago in 1998, it seemed like he had 6 or 7 just in that year alone. But we can talk, if you want, about those 4 shots. And you brought up one of them, but the first shot, I saw all of them live. I don't miss LeBron James games. He made one on a Friday night, January 23rd, 2009. That was the first walk-off jump shot he made. And fittingly, it was in this building that he's about to play in. It was at Golden State over Ronnie Turioff, and they were down by a point. He made a 19-foot step-back jumper over Ronnie Turioff that won the game. And I was impressed because that was his first breakthrough, 2009. And also in that 2009 season, he went on to the playoffs. And you talked about it, and it was the classic case of Mo Williams inbounded with the second left to LeBron at the top of the circle on Hedo Turkoglu, and I don't know what Turkoglu was thinking. He played him to drive, like he sort of dropped back like he's going to drive, but again, you're down 2. He's not going to drive with the second left. He's just going to have to catch it and go up and shoot it.
Correct.
And so I love the situation for LeBron because he didn't have to think, do I have to shoot these free throws or can I just do? No, he didn't have to think about anything. He just went straight up and shot it with conviction, and he made it.
Skip.
And it was the shot heard round the world.
You actually think
of course, they lost 3 of the next 4 games, but that's okay.
You actually think those thoughts go through an individual
absolutely.
mind?
He has the highest basketball IQ, I think, of anybody since Magic, but he might be at the top of the list of all-time basketball IQs that I have seen.
Okay.
And then there was a game just before the All-Star break, February 12, 2014, when he was on a 3-point shooting tear, again at Golden State. This is a regular season game in which he dribbled the ball all the way up the floor. They were down 2 at that point, and
that's right before the All-Star game.
Yes, it was the Thursday night. I watched it in New Orleans in my hotel room, but where we were going to be at the All-Star game in New Orleans. And he took Iguodala to task because he drove on him like he was going to go to the free throw line, and Iggy played him to drive, and he stepped back and shot a 3 and just absolutely ripped it. And I'll give you that one. And then you brought up the one in Chicago. 2015, May the 10th at Chicago. The coach at that point was named David Blatt. Remember that guy?
Yes.
How soon we forget. David Blatt had lost so much faith in LeBron James as a late-game jump shooter that he called a play in which LeBron was going to inbound the ball underneath his own basket to Kyrie Irving. And LeBron, to his credit, finally got sick and tired of it and got mad about it and overruled Blatt's play call.
Right.
I think it ended up, that was the final nail to that quote-unquote coffin of David Blatt. Because LeBron said, no, I want the ball. And I've told you 1,000 times, I love LeBron when he gets mad, when he doesn't have to think anymore. He's just playing angry. He plays great angry. It doesn't happen enough. But on that play, he said, give me the you-know-what ball and get out of my way. And he caught the inbound pass on Jimmy Butler and went straight up and shot it. It wasn't a three-point shot. It was a two-point shot. But he ripped it because he shot it with conviction. So I've given you all 4 in 1,273 games. That's it. And that leads to what we talked about last week from Tom Haberstraw of ESPN.com about his free throw issues. He's got psychological demons with shooting late game free throws. Okay. It has become, according to Tom, the yips. He called it the yips. It's a mental, psychological malady called the yips, where he's afraid of the free throw line in late game situations. He took only 2 do-or-die free throws this year, and it was all the way back on December 29th. And then he said, I'm out. I'm not going to do this anymore. And he quit shooting technical fouls. And by the way, a year ago, he tried 15 do-or-die free throws. And if we go back to 2013-14, he tried 21, and he had a career-high 32 back in 07-08. So you can see what's happened. He's just lost all faith in himself, shooting those free throws, late game, standing at the free throw line by himself. And again, this is Tom. His conclusion was, the cause seems almost inescapable. LeBron James is running away from the do-or-die free throw. This season, he had 13 attempts in one-possession games, and they were almost all of them except one were outside the lane. So he's just shooting jump shots because you're probably not going to get fouled on a jump shot. So I've lost respect for LeBron because he doesn't have the faith to do what he does best, which is freight train to the basket and risk that he's going to get hammered by 3 defenders and sent to the free throw line. Because all you have to do is go stand there by yourself and make 2 free throws to tie or win the game. And he's just quit even trying to do that. And I don't know one game in 1,273 in which he's gone to the free throw line and won the game at the end with that on the table.
But you did admit last week that when Steve Kerr was in the ball game, who was a 90% free throw shooter, and Michael Jordan was also on the court, in technical foul situations, Steve Kerr would go to the line and shoot. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And why not? He's a better free throw shooter than Michael's 85%. LeBron shot a career low 67% this year. He's a liability at the free throw line.
If LeBron is shooting a career worst 67 and Kyrie is shooting 91%, why wouldn't Kyrie go to the line and shoot?
Okay, the better question for you is, why when LeBron went to South Beach, took his talents to South Beach, why did he big-time Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh and say, hey, I'm shooting these techs?
Skip, I just asked you a simple question.
Well, I just asked you a harder question.
Michael Jordan.
Why did LeBron shoot them in Miami? He just did, because he said, I'm the alpha dog here.
I'll let you talk. Let me just answer.
I just answered your question with a better question.
Michael Jordan is 85%. Steve Kerr was 90%. But in the technical foul situation, Michael Jordan would concede and let Steve Kerr go to the line because he's a better free throw shooter.
As LeBron should have throughout his career.
Okay. You said you count the last couple of minutes of a ball game. Now, in Game 4 against the Boston Celtics, LeBron ended the game with 34 points. He scored 15 of those points in the fourth quarter. He assisted on another 2. So 20 of the 25 points they scored, LeBron either scored or assisted on. And in the last 5 minutes of the ball game, he had 6 points. But you don't count that as clutch. Why not?
Because it wasn't a close game.
It wasn't a close game. They were behind, Skip.
Which game are you talking about?
Game 4. Game 4 against the Boston Celtics when LeBron had 4 fouls in the first half.
Oh, that game, this year. Oh, I thought you were going back to 2013.
No, I ain't going back. No, okay. I'm just read because I want it fresh in your mind.
Okay, I'll talk about that game.
Okay. The Washington Wizards. You remember that? when it was the best 3 out of 5, and LeBron won both games with last second
layups.
Do they count?
Sure.
Are they
they're
game
just
winners?
gifts. They're layups. He did what he should have done and got to the basket, and they didn't foul him.
What about
it was a terrible team they were playing.
Whoa, Skip, don't do that. Don't do that.
Wizards first round.
Oh. What about Paul George? That layup he hit on Paul George for the game winner. Was that clutch?
It was a wide-open left-handed layup, uncontested left-handed layup.
Skip.
I give it to you.
No, you didn't.
Is that clutch? I don't know. It's seriously a layup off the glass.
I thought you defined clutch as hitting a shot in the last minute of the ball game that helps your team tie or win the ball game. I've given you 3 instances, and now you're talking about the layups. Do layups count any less than a jumper inside the arc?
I will give you those. They weren't difficult layups, but they were layups.
So what layup is difficult? Unless I forgot the one in game 1 when Michael started on one side, he had the ball on his right, and then he laid it up with his left. That would be a difficult.
Kyrie-like.
Yeah, that would be a
Those are difficult layups.
But what makes but here's the thing, Skip. There's no pressure on Michael because that was in the first half. LeBron is laying.
I'm not giving that to Michael as a clutch shot. It was just a circus shot. It was a signature shot.
I'm saying,
and I made the point to you the other day, Kyrie does that like 3 times a game now.
He does.
That is beyond what Michael did in that game. It was game 2 against
if you notice,
the Lakers.
Kyrie has been doing this his entire career, but we only noticed it once LeBron went back there and they started winning. Because when Kyrie was running the show by himself, he got Anthony Bennett, the #1 overall pick. The next year, he got Andrew Wiggins, the #1 overall pick. So until LeBron came back, nobody even noticed Kyrie was doing this. Okay. Nobody even knew who Uncle Drew was.
So in the bigger picture, we have 3 meltdowns by LeBron James that you constantly sweep under the carpet. And I'm sorry, they disqualify LeBron from ever being in any clutch discussion to me. And they happened against the Celtics in 2010 in his last playoff series in Cleveland, the first go-around, in which they're up 2-1 and lost 3 straight. And the owner saw it as so bad that he accused LeBron of quitting in those last 3 games. And obviously LeBron's insiders put out the story that he had to be sedated before I think it was the last game, game 6, because of some personal issue in the locker room. Then we had the all-time classic meltdown that is just indefensible against Dallas in the 2011 finals, first time around in Miami. You're up 2-1 at Dallas. You lose 3 straight games, and you just disengage and disappear in those games. And I'm not going to let you off the hook for this one because I went back and looked at the numbers of these games. 2014 against my Spurs. Yes. Man, game 1, I don't know what happened with the cramps, but he was the only one who cramped in the game.
What happened to Kawhi with the ankle?
Okay, but this is cramps, okay, and he disappeared in that. He was obviously able to play then in game 2, and he played well in game 2, but then they go home, and it's 1-1 going back to Miami. Go back and check out game 3 and 4. I wrote about it for ESPN.com. You can look up my piece and go through all the detail of it, and tell me, please, that he didn't disappear in those games, because he did. The first game, he took only 14 shots. He had 7 turnovers. It was 111-92 Spurs in his new house in Miami.
And what was his stat line?
Whew. He had 22 points that game.
Go ahead. Okay, go to the next
Second game, it was 107-86 Spurs at Miami. He had 28 points, took only 17 shots, did hit 10 of 17, but I kept thinking, gee, because I'm rooting for the Spurs, obviously, I kept thinking, gee, you're not attacking at all, LeBron. You're just sort of drifting.
So he was his high percentage. Okay, well, tell him about game 5. What was the stat line?
I don't really care because the Spurs just shot him off the floor.
So
I don't remember it.
So, but you gloss over in that series in which they lost.
It was a rout.
They did. LeBron averaged 28 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard averaged 16 points and was the MVP. Dwayne Wade averaged 15 points a game. He scored 76 points.
Well, wait, are you going to give the MVP to the star of the team that got blown off the court by a record finals margin? Wow.
No, Skip. That's not what I'm saying. Now, Dwayne Wade had 76 points in 5 games. That's about 15 points a game.
Yep.
Chris Bosh had 70 points in 5 games. That's 14 points.
So LeBron needed to score more than 22 and 28 in the deciding games 3 and 4, the turning point games at home. Wow.
Averaged 28, 7, and 4. Skip, I'm not trying to gloss over anything, but you minimize how great Bron is, because, like I said, now you love the last 2 minutes. You didn't say the last minute of the NBA report. It says 2 minutes.
Okay, let's go to the classic game, the game that sticks in my craw, the most painful game I've ever watched in my rooting life for my Spurs, which was Game 6 of 2013 at Miami.
Yes.
Let's go to the fourth quarter of that game, and you always point out LeBron had 16 points in that fourth quarter. But he scored 13 of them in the first 7 minutes and 15 seconds of the fourth quarter. So I'll give you that, but that's not clutch to me.
But no, you got to tell the whole story, though, Skip. You telling half the story. Where were the Heat going into the fourth quarter? They were down 10, but carry on.
All right, so it sort of seesaws through the fourth quarter. And now the game's on the line, and we get to 3:18 left, and LeBron has a charging foul on Tony Parker, just a little out of control. But now we can fast forward all the way down to 39 seconds left. 39 seconds left, so it's starting to get into clutch time here. And LeBron just lost the ball. It was an unforced error, turnover, led to 2 Ginobili free throws. Then he turns right around on the next play, and a bad pass, and Ginobili steals it and goes back to the free throw line again, and unfortunately missed the first one and made the second one. That's 28 seconds left. Then LeBron, with 23 seconds left, misses a three-point shot. Missed it, and Danny Green is still in Pop's doghouse because he just took off running, trying to cherry-pick an easy one. Long rebound. Mike Miller gets it and kicks it right back to LeBron, standing in the same place, wide open at the three-point line. And you know what? He made a clutch shot.
But you did.
I'm just saying, that's with 20 seconds left. He made a three. So that got him back to 3.
It's 20 seconds inside of a minute.
So, yes, it is. I'm going to give you that one. But then Kawhi gets fouled intentionally. He goes to the line, misses the first one. He's 21 years old, and made the second one. So now they're only up 3 with 7 seconds left. Now the money is on the table. And LeBron goes up and LeBricks a 3 so badly off the back iron. Long rebound, no Tim Duncan in the game, out to Chris Bosh, who kicks it sweetly into the corner to Ray Allen, who swishes it as clean as you can swish it. Greatest clutch shot I ever saw. So LeBron missed the shot that would have sent it to overtime. And if you look at the final, even 39 seconds of that game, I don't know if I can give him clutch. He did make the 3, I'll give you that, but he had 2 huge turnovers that should have lost the game. And he missed the 3 that could have tied the game.
So so they're down 10 entering the fourth quarter. He scored 16 points. He assists on another 6 points. So that's 22 of the 30 points that they scored. He ended up with a triple-double. But somehow you said he isn't clutch. And then when Kawhi Leonard misses a shot at the free throw line, you brings his age into the equation. I've never heard you mention a guy's age shooting a free throw. But somehow
Why not? It was his first finals. I don't know. He gagged under the pressure. He made the second one, but he missed the first one. If he makes the first one, we probably are having a different conversation.
But he didn't.
No.
So guess what?
And Ginobili made 3 out of 4, but he didn't make 4 out of 4.
But when I have never heard Skip Bayless, and I might have to go back and watch all the DVRs from 3 years that I've saved you talking, I've never heard you mention a guy's age when shooting a free throw.
Well, again, he's playing with 3 Hall of Famers, and it's a big stage against another Hall of Famer.
And Bron took him down, and with a Hall of Fame coach.
He took him down.
Bron took him down.
Look how much happened in the last 39 seconds of that game. It was rich. It was like a game within a game.
36 triple-dub.
Missed the shot to tie the game.
In Game 7 when they're up 2.
Legacy save by Ray Allen.
Skip. And you know what? In Game 7, they were up 2 points. He had an 18-foot jumper over Kawhi. Ball game. Game 7, MVP,
he was good in
LeBron.
Game 7 after my team was shot in the heart.
Who shot him?
Ray Allen.
No mercy. Odell Beckham Jr. missed Giants OTAs last week. Instead, he was here in L.A. training with Johnny Manziel and our friend Chris Carter. On Friday, journalist Roland Martin sent out a series of tweets defending Odell's behavior, which Odell retweeted. One of the tweets said, "I'm sick of folks acting like star athletes must always do what a coach asks. McAdoo wants Odell at workouts. See ya when it's mandatory." Skip, what do you make of this?
I realize Odell has an out here. He just retweeted Roland Martin's tweets.
Correct.
But I am not going to give Odell that out here because to me, retweeting is sort of a...
Endorsing.
Well, it's endorsing, but it's also, this is just me, it's a coward's way out. And I'm not calling Odell a coward, but if you want to say something, you should, so to speak, say it with your chest. You should tweet it.
You say it, don't retweet what somebody else said.
Don't just co-sign it. But in effect, you are co-signing what you know, Roland, what I know, Roland, what Roland said. So to me, if you're co-signing what was a scathing stance of Roland's, I think you're saying to your coach, hey, I'm with Roland here, and I am not going to be, you can't tell me that I should be at a voluntary OTA. So the point here is that Roland Martin said, I'm sick of folks, Joy just read this quote, I'm sick of folks acting like star athletes must always do what a coach asks. So Odell's retweet is, you can't tell me what to do. So to me, I think battle lines just got drawn. I think shots just got fired through retweets, but I'm going to call retweets cosigns, and I'm going to say they are shots fired. I'm going to point out that 87 out of 90 players on the Giants roster did attend the voluntary. Eli attended the voluntary. Brandon Marshall, the newest Giant, attended one of the newest Giants, attended the voluntary. JPP, Jackrabbit, they attended the voluntaries. So look, if you can tell me that Odell's stance is all about a new contract, I'll be okay with that. But I'm not sure that's what's going on here. I think it's Odell just wanting to do what Odell does. And I'm with McAdoo on one point that he made. He said this time of year is about building fundamentals, communication, chemistry, and trust. So he said, sure, you'd like to have all your players here, especially the great ones. Well, I think that was a shot at Odell, that he wanted Odell there, the face of the franchise, to show the younger players we're a team on the verge. We failed up at Green Bay. Now let's take it up to the next level. So I am with McAdoo here, and I'm not going to give Odell any out just because he retweeted.
Skip, I don't make anything of it. Now, I don't necessarily agree with the retweet, but if Ben McAdoo wants to make sure Odell Beckham is there, change voluntary to mandatory. Because, Skip, look, if someone says volunteer work, does that mean you have to do it, or you're doing that out of the kindness of your own heart? This is a voluntary minicamp, which means Odell Beckham's presence is not mandatory. Therefore, he does not have to be there. Now, if you got a new head coach, now this is Odell's third year in this system. If we had a new quarterback, okay, get rhythm, get timing with him. But nothing has changed. Head coach, same offense. Eli, same quarterback. So there's nothing changed. In Odell's eyes, he's looking at it like, I get more benefit from training with my personal trainers that's sports specific, that's going to help me get better at my craft than going there, bull jabbing around, because that's all they're doing. You get nothing out of OTAs if you are a veteran player. And I get all that, camaraderie, chemistry. Look, I've been to enough science classes in high school and took one in college. I'm done with the chemistry stuff. My thing is, if you're a great player, you know what you need to do to get done in the offseason. But let me tell you something, Skip. There have been 3 players in the 98-year history to start their first 3 seasons with 10 touchdowns and 1,000 catches. Randy Moss, John Jefferson, they used to call him the Moon Man. I know you remember him. And Odell Beckham Jr.
Okay.
In the 98-year history, he's one of 3 people can say, I started my season with double-digit touchdowns and 1,000 yards receiving. And you remember his rookie year, he missed the first 4 games. You remember his second year, he got suspended for a game, and he still put up those numbers. Skip, I don't have a problem because I'll be very hypocritical. I did not go to OTAs. If you wanted me to show up, put mandatory in front of voluntary, and then I would show up. Other than that, I'm not coming. You can't guilt me into it. And there is no social media. The fans now can try to guilt you. You should be there trying to build chemistry with Eli. You're not going to guilt me into it. You're not going to say, well, you need to be a leader. I'm leading from Atlanta. They know when I show up, they see the way I work. They see the way I perform on the practice field and in the games. That's how I lead. So all y'all talking about this voluntary and Ben McAdoo talking about the great ones need to be here. He's not coming. He's not coming. And guess what, Skip? When you give him that big contract for $50 million guaranteed, he's still not coming OTAs.
So help me out. How many playoff games has Odell won?
None.
How many has he played in?
1.
1. And before that playoff game, he took his talents to South Beach,
yes.
right? To a yacht in South
yes.
Beach. That's how he prepared for a playoff game at Lambeau Field. He came up small. Sterling Shepard came up small in that first quarter of that game, and it went sideways, and they got blown out by Aaron Rodgers and company.
So you believe if he had gone to voluntary workouts last year, they would have won that game?
I believe this is a really good team. You picked this team now to win the NFC East, right? To go, what did you say?
11-5.
11-5. And this is clearly a team potentially on the verge of doing big things.
Yes.
Maybe even winning the NFC.
They
got a shot.
Yes.
Because a lot of teams got a shot.
They got the talent.
They got the talent. So they've added 2 new receivers, one via free agents and one by first round of the draft.
Yes.
And it's a time when Eli wanted to take everybody down to Duke for a throwing camp, get everybody used to each other. It's just team bonding, team building. It may be a cliche, but I think it works because I have seen playoffs won in the offseason.
Yes.
Super Bowls won in the offseason. So if this team had done something, if over the last 3 years Odell had made the playoffs each year and maybe fallen a game or 2 short, I'd say, okay, I get it. But he has nothing to show for all those catches and all those spectacular Sports Center type highlights.
But here's the thing, Skip, he plays a dependent position. How effective has his quarterback been in those last 3 years? Has his quarterback been playoff caliber? No.
Well, last year.
No. Let's not go back. Let's not go back to the Super Bowls and all that stuff. I'm talking about the last 3 years. Has Eli played to a level that should get this team into the playoffs and win a game? No. Now, his receivers.
Well, last year he was good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Odell wasn't
beat
good.
Dallas twice.
Odell wasn't good last year?
No, he was good. And they did what?
Nothing.
They did nothing, but Eli came out playoff hot Eli, like Lambeau Field playoff hot, where Eli has had huge success against Brett Favre and against Aaron Rodgers.
But there are some throws in the regular season that Eli missed that they could have had home court field.
Yeah.
So who knows? So I don't want to look at it and say, well, Eli played good for like a quarter and they let him down. I look at the whole body of work. Their most consistent player throughout in the last 2-3 years has been Odell Beckham. Now, I would have loved to see him go to that throwing camp with Eli that he had at Duke, but I'm not holding that against him. That's it. It's voluntary. Guys, this is what I'm having. I'm going to invite all of you down here. We're going to have a throwing camp, backs, receivers. We're going to get our timing. So once we get to the mini camps and the training camp, we'll be ready to go. Odell said, no, I'm good, bro. I know the offense. I know what's expected of me, and you know what I'm capable of doing. I'm not holding that against Odell Beckham. And let me tell you something, Giants. Don't think when you give him $50 million, he's going to all of a sudden show up to OTAs, because he's not.
So it sounds like you don't trust Eli all that much, yet you picked him to go 11-5 and win the East? Really? Are you getting a little squeezy over there? What? I don't know.
JPP.
Oh, he was at camp. He went to voluntary.
And Jack Rabbit.
Voluntary. He was there. He was there.
Because he working on that thing for you know who.
No, he has to keep working on his lips because he just keeps talking and talking about Dez. Please keep talking, Jack.
What are you talking about? Hold on. What are you talking about Dez for?
He had to do those lip exercises.
Hold on, Skip. What are you talking about Dez for?
Huh?
You don't get to get talked about with 2 catches for 16
I just hope
yards.
He keeps on talking.
Yeah, Jack Rabbit will keep on talking. He gonna show up with cowboy boots on too and a hat.
Is he?
Walking in the Cowboy Stadium.
You know, I love all this Odell stuff. As a Cowboy fan, I love it because it's not doing the Giants any offseason good.
I don't worry about the offseason. They don't play no games in the offseason.
Well, they play one in early September at Jerry World.
And guess what? I'm gonna have me a case of do.
Oh, yeah?
Come Monday, sitting right here, courtesy of one Skip, Bayless, Brady.
Oh, now I'm Brady. I'll
Yeah,
take that. Thank you.
Insult, I don't
So wait, I'm the Tom Brady of Undisputed. I'll take that.
No.
Wait, so I've got 5 rings and you have none?
No. I'm the LeBron.
Oh, you're the
I'm the LeBron.
So you have 4 finals losses.
No, because what happens is you undermine my performances.
Okay.
How great my performances are, you try to take credit for.
I got it. Yeah.
But Odell, look, Skip, you and I both know when you play that that position, you're dependent on the quarterback. You go out there and do. I'm expecting him to have his best season this year because a lot of people are against him. And well, you should have gone to voluntary minicamp. And he knows now that by going to South Beach and not performing well, that had no bearing on his play. But you just heighten the criticism that's going to come your way when you do things like that and you don't perform on the biggest stage. Odell Beckham's going to have about 1,500 yards, about 13, 14 touchdowns this year.
He probably will. and they'll probably miss the playoffs. But that's okay.
And they'll be 2-0 against your Cowboys.
Maybe they will, and they'll still miss the playoffs.
Y'all missing the playoffs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I said it. What part about 9-7 did
y'all are going 12-4 over here. Yeah.
Big Y.
Yeah.
Hyphen
We're going to the
ALL.
Super Bowl.
You ain't going no Super Bowl.
Yeah, you watch.
Super Bowl is not in Dallas. It's in Minnesota.
We'll be there.
Yeah, sitting right beside us. That's where they're going to be. Hopefully Zeke and Dak will come on and talk to us. Maybe you can call in a favor for Jerry and have him to talk to us.
Hopefully Odell will be on Undisputed at this Super Bowl.
Odell ain't going to be in.
He's got time.
No, he won't. He's going to be in the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yep.
Now the Giants are in the Super Bowl.
They're going to be closer than the Cowboys.
Well, go ahead and say it.
No, Skip.
Go ahead and do it.
Skip, it's May.
It's May. You could do it.
There's so many things that can happen between now and September.
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll make our pick.
I don't have to equivocate. I got Dallas in the Super Bowl.
You had them last year.
Well,
how did that work out for you?
They should have been there.
No, they shouldn't have.
31-all. Hand of God field goals. They would have beaten the Falcons at home.
Why did you get down 21-3? The hand of God wasn't there then. That's why they put a roof on it, because he got tired of seeing that bad football at Cowboys Stadium.
It was all new to them, and they didn't know how to get ready with 3 weeks to prepare for a playoff game.
God hollered down to Jerry, put a roof on that building. Y'all playing terrible. I don't want to see this.
No, he reached down through that roof and said, here, Mason, I'll do this for you, and I'll do this for you. Yes, he did.
What about the throw?
Huh?
How about that throw by Aaron Rodgers?
Pitch and catch, wide open, uncontested at the sideline. Way to go, Aaron.
A right-handed quarterback rolling to his left.
Stopping cold, plenty of time, wide open receiver.
No mercy. New York Giants owner John Mara was asked by Monday Morning Quarterback if his team ever considered signing Colin Kaepernick this offseason. Mara said no and said last year there were many Giants fans that told him they'd never come to another game if any Giant player kneeled for the anthem. He added, all my years being in the league, I never received more emotional mail from people than I did about that issue. It wasn't 1 or 2 letters, it was a lot. It's an emotional issue for a lot of people, more so than any other issue I've run into. Shannon, what's your take?
John Mara is utterly ridiculous. He should be ashamed that he would say that publicly. Because guess what he did, Skip? There's a young man on his team, a kicker named Josh Brown, who assaulted his wife on numerous occasions. Now, in January, late January, I think it was 2015. No, it's 2016 because he missed it. January of 2016 at the Pro Bowl. Josh Brown got so ridiculous and out of hand, they moved his wife and kids to a different hotel at the Pro Bowl. Now, this isn't first-hand, this isn't second-hand knowledge, this isn't third-hand knowledge. The NFL intervened.
Yep.
John Mara also said in a 2016 radio interview, he certainly admitted to us that he abused his wife in the past, but what's a little unclear is the extent of that. He said this publicly, Skip. A man admitted to him that he abused his wife, but it was unclear to what extent. Skip, this was going to get you, Skip, that's all. He also said, they asked him in another interview, Mara said this was in January now, they asked him, John Mara, again about this. He said, the whole thing bothered me. It bothered John Mara so much in January that he gave Josh Brown a 2-year, $4 million extension in April. That's how much it bothered him. Now, people will protest and refuse to come to a game for a guy that's protesting the police brutality of men and women and people of color at the hands of policemen, but a guy that's protesting that cause would lead them to stay away, but a guy that abused his wife, and the owner knew about it, the NFL knew about it, and it wasn't until radio station and this lady up in Seattle got wind of it and she started writing about it, then all of a sudden, now John Mara has morals. He has I couldn't do this. I mean, I couldn't do this to my fans. Your fans, when you have a guy that's on your team that did this to his wife, he admitted it. And you said it was unclear to what extent. You said it bothered you. It bothered you so much that you gave him an extension for $4 million. So were you really bothered by it?
Yep.
Tell the truth, John Mara. This upsets you. Because if you wanted that guy, you wouldn't care what the people thought. Because guess what? Even though it was getting backlash when it first came out, you're like, yeah, we knew about it and we feel comfortable with the explanation that Josh Brown gave us. But as the clamor got louder and louder, you had no choice but to step away. What's so disappointing is there collusion? Are they making a concerted effort? No. I don't believe the 32 owners got together and said, don't you sign him, don't you sign him, don't you sign him. Just like they didn't get together and says, we're not drafting a black quarterback. It just somehow automatically just happened, Skip. You and I both know the crux of this because they're talking about, well, he hadn't played well. Brian Hoyer played well. Mike Glennon played well. Fitzpatrick, Geno Smith, Mark Sanchez, E.J. Manuel. Man, stop with this bull jive. We know what it's about. Go ahead and just say it. I'm upset that he protested. I live in America, and my family profited off a country that was founded on protest. But when a black man of color protests his issues, it's not what I coincide with. It's not what I agree with, so I got no time for it. He's ridiculous.
I agree with everything you just said. Very fair point, very valid point, and I would like to know exactly how much emotional mail, quote unquote, John Mara received over the Josh Brown incident, right?
Yes.
Because I'll bet it was a lot. I don't know if it was as much as this, but I bet it was a lot. So let's just deal with this quote and what he said about Colin Kaepernick.
Okay.
I'm sure there is some truth to the mail he received,
Yeah.
as he called it, the emotional mail he received about Colin's stance against the quote-unquote, flag against America. I get all that. I wonder why he would feel the need to say this right now. Did he get some encouragement from the league office? I don't know. Did he feel like he just needed to express the other side of this equation just to sort of defend the powers that be in the NFL? Because there's been so much outrage and outroar about the way Colin Kaepernick has been treated? Maybe so. There's one tricky part to this that I've brought up before, and I'm going to bring it up again because he raises this issue. If you're pro-flag and pro-America, and hence your anti-Kaepernick stance, does that make you racist or make you have racist tendencies? Do you see what I mean? Can you be just pro-flag and not racist in this regard?
I believe you can, but only if you're against all the people that protested Great Britain and wanted their independence here in America.
Okay.
Only if you're against those.
Okay, I'm with you. So I told you from the first day we were on the air, September 6th of the launch of Undisputed, that when I first saw the protest, I cringed because I'm pro-flag and pro-America. But then I opened my eyes and ears to his message, which I didn't know in the very beginning.
Correct.
And the more I heard him speak, I told you that the right of this outweighed the quote-unquote wrong of it, protesting the flag. And I don't believe it, I know it, that Colin Kaepernick has wound up having profound impact on this country on the very issue that you talked about. So many black men being killed, unarmed black men being killed by white cops. And I believe this is going to live forever as an impactful protest. So I admire him for what he did. He's risked his career. I don't know what's going to happen. I still don't know what's happening in Seattle. I still don't know exactly what happened with Spike Lee tweeting or posting a picture about Colin has signed in Seattle and then he took it down. I wish I knew what was actually going on because it's such a great fit that I wish it had already happened.
Right.
I wish it was done. Tale had been told that he was a Seahawk. It'd be the perfect spot for him in a city that I think would be a little more flexible and a little more open to his stance and his politics.
Yes.
And yet, I don't know why John Mara would feel the need to speak out right now because it's really not fair to Colin Kaepernick.
Because he needed a way to justify why they didn't sign Colin Kaepernick. I mean, as an owner, your team, you don't have to justify it. But people looking at you, you signed Geno Smith. Geno Smith won 2 games, maybe 2, 3 games in his whole career. But here's the problem that I have. There were a lot of black men and women that died in America, and they died at the hands of people carrying that flag. Is John Mayer upset about that? Because I don't know. I would like, you know what I would like? I would like to see and hear their response. I would like to get the owners in a room and sit down with some of our black great thinkers of today. And while they cast aspersions and look down upon Colin Kaepernick for the stance he took, think about how many times that flag waved in the background as men and women hung from trees. After that, we see it all the time. The nationalists, the alt-right, or whatever they want to call themselves, they'll cloak themselves in that American flag while brutalizing Americans. And a lot of people don't seem to have a problem with it. But when a man speaks out about the injustices that he sees in our society, that's a problem. You know, and this doesn't affect John Mayer. The likelihood of John Mayer having an interaction with a police officer is 0, because he got a driver probably. And in New York, everybody knows who he is. And if you were to pull him over, and that's going to get back to your captain, there's a good chance you're going to be on desk job for a minute.
Probably so.
So these owners are in a very unique position, because they'll never have to worry about the things that most black men in America have to worry about, Skip. Money don't exempt you from being black. Because at the end of the day, you go home, you still black. You might be a millionaire, you might be a billionaire. But when you notice they, Skip, they say, the first black billionaire. Who's going to be the first hip-hop black billionaire? Black always tags along with it. Colin Kaepernick, I think he knew there was a possibility. But in his mind, he's like, I didn't harm anybody. I'm protesting. See, now you say, well, if you got a problem, protest. Okay, he protested. Now they want to tell him the manner in which to protest. Skip, if you tell me how to protest, you're going to tell me the way that makes you feel least comfortable. So a way that's going to make you feel most uncomfortable, you don't want that. The man took a knee, and he told you why he took a knee about the police brutality of unarmed black men and women in America. That's all he did, Skip. He's not rioting. He's not burning buildings. He's not killing anybody. He's protesting. The most peaceful form of the First Amendment that you can have, Skip. That's why it's the First Amendment. It's not the 14th. It's not the 18th, the 24th. It's the First Amendment.
But you know what happened? A lot of these owners, such as Amera, that level of ownership, longtime cornerstone franchise owners, I know their attitude was, how dare you use our stage to protest our flag? That's where it came from in the beginning.
Use our stage, making our money to protest our flag.
That's what happened.
How dare you? We will show you. And I told you before, Skip, this isn't about Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick's fate might be already sealed. This is deter others. If you ever think about such, let this be a lesson to you, because punishment sometimes is to be meant as a deterrent, not to the individual, to those coming along.
Well, no Giants players kneeled for the anthem last season. So your question earlier, Skip, about whether there's some sort of racist undertone to caring more about the flag than, you know, what happens. What bothers me is when people can get so emotional and so offended and bothered by kneeling for the flag, but when you talk about what he's actually kneeling for, they have nothing to say, they have no opinion. They're not bothered by it and feel nothing for the victims or the families or people who are affected by police brutality.
But Skip, and maybe plus, New York, 9/11, maybe the flag is a little bit more symbolic to some. I'm trying to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, Skip. But let's be real
care as much about human lives as you do about the flag, is all I'm saying.
No mercy.
We're just 3 days away from the highly anticipated Cavs-Warriors rubber match, but according to Vegas, this series might not be that competitive. The defending champs opened as massive underdogs to the Warriors, and Kevin Love took exception to the odds. Let's take a listen.
The whole underdog thing is funny to me because, at the end of the day, we are defending our title when we're trying to repeat, which is so hard to do. But, no, I mean, I think we will use it as fuel, but we will use it as motivation. But as far as the idea of like playing into it, you know, it's tough for me to say that is the case. I mean, I don't feel like we're underdogs. I think we match up well with them, and I think they say the same about us.
We're joined by former NBA All-Star Carlos Boozer. Welcome to Undisputed.
Thank you.
Happy to have you.
Y'all stop hating on me. Y'all be hating on me.
You guys should trade, and then you can beat each other up before the show.
How about this? Carlos brought these to us.
Very nice.
From your
Yeah, let me see yours right
Our
quick.
company, Active Dreamers, yeah.
No, I'm not going to let you. I know what you'll do. You'll throw it. Or
I promise I
kick it or
won't. I
something.
promise I won't, Skip.
Yeah.
I promise.
Skip!
Yeah.
Right?
Skip, I
was
promise I
good,
won't.
George.
I promise I won't throw it.
Here
I
we
promise.
go. This is the end of this pill. Can I have another one after
We can
this?
get you another one.
I
absolutely.
promise. Told you about
Yeah,
that.
I knew it.
I tell you, talking crazy
Yeah.
to me.
And look, I took every punch and I didn't flinch, and I didn't even bleed.
Yep, didn't bust it. Give it
You
to
don't think I have a jaw, man?
Absolutely. But I heard you're a crazy LeBron fan. So
Yeah.
Wait, who is that?
that's LeBron right
That's
there.
LeBron.
You
He's
know who
like
it is.
18.
Absolutely.
Right?
So me and my partner Jack McClinton made this especially for you to go with your blanket.
I sure
Oh.
And we'll
appreciate
get you a king-size blanket after the show.
And I got a long body pill I need to pill.
Done deal.
All right.
Why you hating, Skip?
LeBron back.
Skip, you too big and you to be hating like this.
I was
Skip.
going to say something about
Yeah,
it.
just
I'm going to bite
hold
my
it back.
tongue.
Carlos, what do you make of Kevin Love's comments?
I think Kevin did a great job of answering the question. But obviously, you saw what he said at the end of the statement. They're not an underdog. They're the champs. I know Vegas and the odd makers got their, Golden State sweeping or what have you, but they're defending their title. They won it outright last year. I think he answered the question very well, politically correct. But I think in that locker room, they believe they can beat Golden State. And I mean, personally, I got them in 7.
Do you?
I got Cleveland in 7. Yeah.
Going back to Golden State again and winning another game in their building.
I think Golden State wins game 1, and then obviously Cleveland being down, they win game 2, and we see what happens from there.
Last year, they lost both the first 2 at Golden State and still turned it around.
Yeah.
Thanks to Draymond Green getting suspended, but that's another story.
LeBron didn't have nothing to do with that, huh?
Yeah.
29.
He had a lot to do with
29, 11, and 9.
Yeah.
Those numbers in the finals?
It's out of character for Kevin Love, but it just goes to show you how confident he is. If you look at the way he played this last series, 22 and 12, over 50% from the three-point line, Skip, and he knows he's going to have to play as well as he did in the finals as he did the Eastern Conference Finals. Because last year, Skip, he didn't play particularly well in the finals. Now, they were an underdog last year to a 73-9 team who added a former MVP. So I'm not surprised. I don't think anybody's surprised. Now, maybe how big of an underdog, considering the money and what Vegas has set the line at, I'm not surprised they're an underdog. I am surprised at how big of an underdog they are, but I love Kevin Love because LeBron, because you remember they asked LeBron this a couple of years ago, he's like, I'm never an underdog. As long as I'm on the team, I feel like we should be the favorite. For Kevin Love to say this, he's feeling real confident in his game. He's ready to step up, and I'm glad he said it because guess what? There's something that LeBron or Kyrie would say, but when Kevin Love says it, we good.
We good?
We good.
Kevin Love said. You know what I thought?
What'd you think?
I'm going to steal Kevin's line here. What was funny to me is that of all the Cavaliers to make this statement, it was Kevin Love. It wasn't LeBron James. Remember, the last time we heard from LeBron was after the Eastern Conference Finals. They had clinched, and he said, it's too stressful to me to even think about talking about Golden State, right?
Yeah.
And yet here's Kevin Love stepping up to the mic and saying, you know what? We're the defending champs. To your point, that's the way he concluded. It's funny. You're saying we're the underdogs, and I agree with them. It is funny to me that they are almost prohibitive underdogs. Right. I'm going to say this again. LeBron is just better than Kevin Durant. He just is because he's proven so much more. Help me out here. Go back and study Kevin's playoff profile and tell me what you see. You see that LeBron basically owned him when they went head-to-head in the finals. Again, Kevin was much younger. Their team was very young. Right. But then look what my Spurs have done to Kevin Durant, that Game 6 where they closed him out in Oklahoma City and Kevin came up empty in overtime. And I can show you other playoff series where Kevin came up pretty small. So I don't know how he's going to be on this stage. He's been really good so far, but this is it, man. They have played next to nobody as Cleveland has played next to nobody. Right. And then the other guy is Kyrie on this stage has proven way more to me than Steph has proved to date.
Right.
This is a huge final for Steph Curry because he has not lived up in either of the last two finals to his regular season MVPs,
Right.
especially his second one, which was unanimous. And I thought he came up pretty small last year. Maybe he had a tweaked knee. I don't know how bad it was, but he didn't look quite right. But still, he wasn't Steph Curry. So if you tell me LeBron is better than Kevin Durant and Kyrie is better than Steph, they got a shot, man. They got a real shot here.
They're going to have a shot, but the thing is, let's just say for the sake of argument, KD and Steph cancel out LeBron and Kyrie.
Okay.
Now, last series, Clay didn't play particularly well.
Did
now,
not.
maybe it was because he was tired for chasing around Patty Mills.
It's possible.
But now you got to have a third scorer because who's going to be that guy? KD and Steph going to do what they do. LeBron and Kyrie going to do what they do. Who is the third scorer for the other team that's going to step up? Is it going to be Clay? Is it going to be Kevin Love? Draymond's going to do all the grunt work. Tristan got his work cut out for him because he's going to be going up against two very active guys, Draymond and JaVale McGee, who all of a sudden has found his niche in Golden State. So this is going to be a better series than I think people think.
Yep.
And you already know what I think. I'll give you my prediction on Thursday.
Okay. Well, it's probably Cavs in 4 or something like that. But it's okay.
2.
Okay. Cavs in 2.
After LeBron,
They should have beaten Boston in 2, but they didn't.
After LeBron goes from 50, 10, and 8,
Yeah.
you can be like, huh?
Well, so it took Kevin Love. He's become the new guts of your Cavaliers, right?
First of all,
Kevin Love?
Skip, you already know what LeBron thinks. LeBron thinks he's the best player. He made that abundantly clear. Even when Kevin Durant got the MVP, he says, I'm the best player.
Does
With
this
Steph,
signal we're going to have a big series from Kevin Love?
Ke-
Like big. I'm talking
Dropping
about
dimes.
maybe dropping dimes.
Yeah, hey.
I think he's going to be dropping threes.
Hey, first of all, if he gives you in the finals what he gave you Eastern Conference Finals, they'll sweep Golden State.
See, you're going that direction now.
If he gonna give
there
you,
go.
first of all, Skip, if he's gonna give you 22 and 12,
Yeah.
man, come on, Skip.
Put your hand over that guy's mouth. You know what? Wait a second. It's a close call who you love more.
Bro,
You
are
or
right with
LeBron?
me, and he got the undisputed on the back. Skip, look at that.
Undisputed.
nice.
Yeah.
That's something. I'll just give mine to Ernestine.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
all
It'll be
she needs.
perfect. Ernestine,
Hey,
We got to get you one.
Hayes is gonna be
We gotta
laying on
get
top
you
of you. Hayes is gonna
She
be on
might.
your curled up on top
perfect.
of your pillow.
Unfortunately,
watch-
she might have an accident on my pillow.
No mercy. We have breaking news. Tiger Woods was arrested for a DUI around 3 a.m. this morning near his home in Jupiter, Florida. He was taken to Palm Beach County Jail and released about an hour ago. Shannon, what's your reaction?
Sad, disappointed. Skip, I don't know if we've ever had a greater athlete fall so far from glory as we've seen this young man precipitous fall. There are very few things, some things I can have sympathy and I can empathize with, but this is not one of the offenses. Because with the amount of money that he has, Skip, he could hire a driver. He should never put himself in that situation. Not only did he put it, if that's what you want to do, fine. But don't put other people in harm's way. When you drink and drive, you get behind the wheel, you put other people's lives at risk. Why would you do that, Tiger? And it's just, and looking at the mug shot, and it's just so disappointing, Skip. If somebody would have told me this, because I didn't think he could get any lower than what he had already gone, the depths of which he had fallen to. I didn't think it was possible for him to go lower. But for him to put himself in that situation is sad, is disappointing, and where does he go now, Skip?
It's sad, and it's stunning to me because I didn't know of Tiger having any issues with alcohol.
No.
I never heard that. I never read that. So this is a new twist to what's becoming an old story.
Correct.
And I'm going to remind everybody, Tiger Woods has not won a major championship in almost 9 years.
Right.
Again, Fox has this year's U.S. Open. We'll be there, but
He's done for the
9
rest of the year,
years.
though, correct?
yeah.
As far as golf.
Well, he said it's going to be almost. He guessed about 3 months before he's even going to be allowed to twist again. To do the golf
Sport
maneuver
motion.
again.
Correct.
Yeah. And it reminds me of what Steve Kerr said recently about his back surgery. if you're thinking about having back surgery, don't. Just try to rehab it on your own, because once you go in there, bad things happen, and it's never going to be quite right. And now Tiger's had these discectomies, and he's had, I think, 3 of them now. And it seems to go from bad to worse. We thought he was back at his little hero challenge that he had in the Bahamas. Actually played pretty well, especially the last day, led the field in birdies. And then he goes to Dubai, and he comes apart again. In second round, 77, and he's out.
Right.
And now he's out for a long time. He's 41 years of age, born on that same day,
December 30th,
a little later, but he's 41. Obviously, he's older than LeBron, but December 30th. And it hit me just how sad it is for him that he has now resorted to drinking late in the night, early in the morning. This happened at, I think, 3 o'clock in the morning. Wow. That's not the Tiger I knew of before. And that mugshot that you just showed me before he came on, wow. That's not the saddest looking, lowest looking thing you've seen?
Because when you think, okay, let's think about these iconic figures. Muhammad Ali, or Michael Jordan, or Tiger Woods. I don't know who else you want to put in there.
Serena Williams.
Serena Williams. Skip, can you imagine Michael? Can you imagine? I mean, think about what Tiger did. He put himself in harm's way. I'm not, look.
I mean, to your point, he dominated the sport the way no one ever has, and I'm pretty sure no one ever will for that period of time.
Think about it, Skip. Jordan Spieth has missed one more cut at 23 than Tiger has missed all his career. So that just goes to show you how great he was. And probably 10 of those missed cuts came in the last 3-4 years. It's just so sad. And when you see the thing, breaking news, and it scrolls across your phone, and then you pull it up and you look at his mugshot. Skip, I feel sadness. I feel sadness.
Well, you know what a hardcore golf fan I am. My mom's a hardcore golf fan, and we talk all the time about how we still miss Tiger.
Yes.
Just not the same. I mean, I covered for years the Byron Nelson in Dallas and the Colonial in Fort Worth, so just back-to-back weekends we had the 2 tournaments. And I watched the end of the Byron Nelson, and it's Billy Horschel, and it's okay, it was fun. Jason Day was in the middle of it, but it's not Tiger. And then Kevin Kisner yesterday, again, Jordan Spieth was in the middle of it, but it's Kevin Kisner, and I'm like, it's not Tiger. It's just not what it used to be.
Nobody makes you want to sit down and watch golf like he did. It didn't matter. If it was a major, obviously you're going to watch. But Skip, if he was in contention, no matter what you planned around him. You wanted to see, was he going to close the deal? Now, you knew if he
come apart, you know, like he could win or lose as spectacularly as anybody I've ever watched.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. If he was in the lead on the final day, it was over. Until Y.E. Yang walked him down at the championship, the PGA Championship, he was never the same.
And that was the beginning of the end.
That started a chain of events, and it's just sad. I mean, it's just I'm looking at his mugshot, and I feel sadness. I feel empathy, because a guy that was so high when he was on Mount Everest, and now he's at the bottom of the ravine, and I just don't know.
Look, he brought much of his downfall upon himself.
Yes, he did.
Right?
Yes.
And we know about all of his extracurricular activity when he was married. And then it all fell apart. And the only reason I felt duped about it was because I thought, because of the Tiger Woods Foundation website, that he was a great husband and father, and apparently he was only a great father, and he continues, by all accounts, to be a great father.
Well, Skip, if that was the problem, if he was at this height when he was doing all that, go back and get him. You single now, go get your 5 or 6 or 7 and have them at the hotel. If that's going to help you get your golf game back.
Well, that's an interesting point, but when we talk about downfalls, I can't put it in the OJ category.
No. He didn't. No.
But on sadness, just because his body started to betray him, and yet I think he brought a lot of that on himself. Again, I go back to Hank Haney's former coach's book, The Big Miss, and Hank contends that he got so into Navy SEAL training. He wanted to be his father, who was a career military man. He actually wanted to be a Navy SEAL. At the height of his powers in golf, it didn't make him happy enough. He wanted to follow in his father's footsteps. So he actually went on trial maneuvers with the SEALs.
Right.
And Hank contends that he tore his ACL in a trial maneuver in a dark house where they had to actually, I don't know how you pull it off, but there wasn't real bullets, but it felt real to Tiger enough.
They do a simulation,
Yeah,
they mock up, and they give you the dimensions, and you have to go in there.
Right.
Skip.
And then he was running distance in army boots, and his knees started to go out, and then he Achilles, and then one thing after another.
It helped and it cursed because to be a Navy SEAL, a lot of it is more mental than it is physical. But the mental approach that helped him in his golf game, what he did in training broke him down physically.
It did.
So it was not sports specific.
He got so into weightlifting, and trust me, because I know golf, weightlifting does not help your golf. It just doesn't.
No,
so
you can't be too muscle bound.
He got too muscle bound
Yeah.
for his own good.
Well, that's very disappointing at the end of the day. He was released from custody at 10:50 this morning from Palm Beach County Jail. No mercy. This is the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast, where we're delivering you an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the biggest topics of the day's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Like us on Facebook at Undisputed on FS1. Follow on Twitter at Undisputed. And catch us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, Monday through Friday on FS1. You can find us on Channel 219 on DirecTV, 150 on Dish. Thanks for listening, guys. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. That's all for us today. We'll have more debates tomorrow with Chris Broussard, Chris Carter, and Eddie House. And to all of our fans in the Bay Area, Undisputed is coming to Oakland Thursday and Friday live from Jack London Square at Plank. Check-in starts at 5 a.m. Pacific, so come watch the show live with us. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Fox Sports, one of one.